Hello guys, welcome back to BMFU. Today's video is a bit different. It's not about the success story of any company. It's about the failure story of a company. It's not about any company which became a hero from zero. Instead, it's about a company which became a zero from once being a hero. Yes, as you saw in the thumbnail, today I'm gonna give the case study of Kodak, which was once dominating the camera and film market. But eventually, in the year 2012, it filed bankruptcy. What happened to Kodak? How and why did it become bankrupt? Let's understand the story in today's case study. So, what are you waiting for? Let's begin. George Eastman was the founder of Kodak. He founded Kodak in the year 1888. Yeah, very old company. It was founded in Rochester, New York City in USA. And even today, the headquarters is there itself. Do you know guys, Kodak was the company which invented the film camera and the digital camera. Please don't get confused with the film camera and the movie camera. They both are different. Film camera is a type of camera where the photographer has to put a roll of negatives in the camera and then click the pictures. And that roll of negative is known as film. Earlier, before Kodak, only the professional photographers and cameramen had the cameras. And Kodak was the company which made the cameras affordable to the middle class families. Let's understand Kodak's business model. Kodak was making cameras, films, photo papers and the chemicals used in processing the photos. Kodak used a business model called the razor and blades model. This model was first used by Gillette in 1920. Basically, in this business model, the companies sell the main items at low prices and then sell the complementary items at higher prices. Let's understand this business model with an example. As I said, Gillette started using this business model in 1920. Basically, what Gillette did was, it sold the razors at a very low price and then started selling the blades at a high price. Gillette designed its razors and the blades in such a way that they looked stylish and at the same time, they were more comfortable to handle. So the customers remained with Gillette and they purchased the blades again and again from Gillette. So this model helped Gillette to generate recurring revenue. Another modern day example is our favorite PlayStation. Yes, do you know guys, Sony makes loss on each and every PlayStation console it sells. You heard it right. Sony makes a loss of 15 to 20% on each and every gaming console it sells. Then how does Sony make profit? Sony makes profit from the gaming DVDs and the softwares. Sony sells the gaming DVDs at higher margin. As the customers have purchased the gaming consoles from Sony, they'll definitely purchase the games. So Sony charges higher margin on the gaming DVDs and make their profit. And Kodak used the same strategy. Kodak sold the cameras at a very low price, but Kodak sold its films, chemicals and photo papers at higher margin. And from these three complementary products, Kodak made profits. These razors and the gaming consoles are the main components, while the blades and the gaming DVDs are the complementary items. These complementary items are the products which actually generate revenue to the companies. I hope you guys understood the business model. Okay, let's get back to Kodak. The customers who purchased cameras from Kodak, obviously they purchased the films, photo papers and the chemicals from Kodak. These three complementary items were sold at higher margins, and these three complementary items were actually generating revenue to Kodak. Until 1968, Kodak had captured 80% of the global market share. In 1976, Kodak captured 95% of the film market and 85% of the camera market in the United States alone. If Kodak was such a giant company, then how it became bankrupt? Guys, do you remember one thing I said at the beginning? I said Kodak was the company which invented the digital camera. Steven Sasson, an engineer at Kodak, invented the digital camera in 1975, and this was the moment which laid the foundation for the fall of Kodak. Yes guys, unknowingly Kodak's engineer became the reason for the decline of Kodak. Steven Sasson made a prototype of a digital camera and demonstrated it in front of the top management of Kodak. But they didn't understand the model and the working of it, so they didn't take it much seriously, but they started working on it. On the other hand, small players like Nikon, Fujifilm, Sony, they all saw the future in digital cameras. In 1977, Kodak called Neil James Gunther for an interview. In that interview, the chief executive officer of Kodak of that time, Colby Chandler, asked a question: what does the future look like? In response, Gunther answered, I see the future digital. Listening to this statement, Colby Chandler felt bad, but he hired Gunther because he's a great scientist. After joining Kodak, Gunther gave many feedbacks, but the top management was not ready to listen to his feedbacks or to change the business into digital cameras because they were addicted to the enormous profits gained through the high margins from the photo papers and films. After the entry of digital cameras in 1989, the market started to shift. The people started to purchase digital cameras. After observing the penetration of digital cameras among public, Kodak finally launched its first digital camera, Kodak DCX, in 1991. But still, its primary focus was the film cameras. Why the digital cameras became famous among people so faster? The reason is digital cameras were comparatively cheaper than the film cameras, and digital cameras didn't require films to take pictures or to print them. While Kodak was busy focusing on film cameras, the small players were slowly capturing the market share of Kodak. Kodak's marketing team tried to convince the management a lot. Even Gunther tried to convince the management. The media and magazines were making fun of Kodak, but Kodak's management continued to stick with the film cameras and was busy claiming that the media has no knowledge about the camera business. It was 2001. In the span of 10 years, everything changed. Kodak's sales started dropping rapidly. Until Kodak could realize its mistakes, it was too late. Many small players had become bigger than Kodak. A time was there when people preferred only Kodak cameras. But after 2000, no one cared about Kodak. However, in 2004, Kodak stopped the production of film cameras and pushed its digital cameras. But until then, the customers had already chosen their favorite digital camera brands. Kodak was facing heavy losses each year. In September 2011, the stock price of Kodak hit an all-time low of $0.54 per share. After this, Kodak couldn't find any external funding also. Finally, on 19 January 2012, Kodak filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Chapter 11 bankruptcy means the company will plan for reorganization to keep its business alive and repay the debts over time. Today, Kodak is not in camera business, it's in the pharmaceutical business. But even today, Kodak is under loss. It is not able to make profits. Okay guys, now we've come to the end of the video. So what are the lessons we learned? Lesson number 1. Don't miss the first mover advantage. Kodak invented the digital camera. It had the potential to destroy all these small players and create a complete monopoly in the camera industry. But it was busy enjoying the current profits coming from the film cameras, and other companies used Kodak's invention and grew bigger than Kodak. That's why if your company invented something new or has created something innovative and has the ability to bring revolution in the society, don't worry about the current profits. In the future, you'll make a lot more than this. Just use the first mover advantage effectively. This will surely help you to create monopoly or else give tough competition to other companies in your sector. Lesson number 2. Reflective listening. Kodak lacked reflective listening. An experienced marketing team, a great scientist like Neil James Gunther, and many other staffs tried to convince the top management a lot. They tried to show the blind spot of Kodak, but the top management ignored all the feedbacks, and when media and magazines made fun of Kodak, it became busy claiming that media has no knowledge about camera business. That's why a company should have reflective listening. It should listen to its team and staffs carefully, understand what they are conveying and why they are conveying it. Lesson number 3. Making profit is not the business. Making profit should always be a part of business. It should not become the business. A business should treat its profit like fuel. Let's understand it with an example. Imagine you have a car and you want to reach a particular destination. So here you require fuel to drive the car to reach the destination. Similarly, the car is your business, the destination is the business goals, and fuel is the profit. Fuel should be used to reach the destination. Getting fuel should not become the destination. Likewise, profit should be used to achieve the business goals. Gaining profit should not become the primary business goal. Kodak made its profit earning itself the business goal. The management didn't think about the future of the company. They were just thinking about the current profits of the company. Okay, that's it for today guys. If you found the video useful and love the content, please like, share and subscribe, and make sure you follow BMFU on Instagram and Facebook. The links are in the description. If you are watching this video on Instagram or is Facebook and haven't yet followed BMFU, please go follow, because I keep posting daily motivational content on the pages. Yeah, that's it. I'll meet you in the next week with a new video.